Okay, so I've been watching, uh, or I've watched several of Jordan Peterson's lectures, and I know he's kind of controversial. I realize that most of my content has been anti-Christian, so this is probably really unexpected, but I would say I agree with about 65 to 70% of what he says, at least when it comes to psychology. And the whole point of this video, I'm wanting to share this clip. I will put the full length because I'm tired of people taking things out of context. Not just with the Bible, but even this guy. There's a lot of atheist channels that I watched who will take this out of have taken this out of context as well, just because. And even if I don't agree with someone's belief system, doesn't mean I want an argument taken out of context. So I want to play this and then I'll explain.
I don't want to, but I have to. I want to ask you just quickly. The film director Olivia Wilde has a new movie out, which she says is based on you, this insane man, this pseudo-intellectual hero to the incel community. Incel being these weirdo loner men who are despicable in many ways. Is that you? Are you the intellectual hero to these people?
Sure, why not? People have been after me for a long time because I've been speaking to disaffected young men. What a terrible thing to do that is.
Alright, I want to pause it there for a quick second. So right now, like, you can see him tearing up and stuff. Like, first off, what all he said was, what a terrible thing is it to address the young men of the country, because that is frowned upon. So
Thought the marginalized were supposed to have a voice.
It's making you emotional talking about it.
Well, God, it's very difficult to understand how demoralized people are. And certainly many young men are in that category. And you get these casual insults, these incels. What do they mean? It's like, these men, they don't know how to make themselves attractive to women who are very picky.
So just as a fair reminder, incel means involuntarily celibate, or either they can't find a woman, or some of them are even virgins and stuff like that. So yeah, that's just a rounded off. But who decides whether or not someone is accepted, right? That's in the female's domain. So anyhow,
Good for them. Women, be picky. That's your gift, man. Demand high standards from your men. Fair enough. But all these men who are alienated, it's like they're lonesome and they don't know what to do, and everyone piles abuse on them.
When she said that, Olivia Wilde, it stung you, didn't it? I saw the
Oh,
reaction.
by that time, that as far as critiques go, that was kind of low level. I mean, once I got painted as Red Skull, magical super Nazi, that was kind of the end of the insults.
Replicant
There's
Fish
no
uses
place
that
past
guy.
So when Olivia Wilde made those comments, the first thing I did was go look at the preview for her movie, which I quite liked. I thought I would go see that movie probably, and perhaps I will. It didn't really bother me. My family and I talked about it right away, and we were able to respond to it with some degree of humor, which then people completely misunderstood. I said I hope that, that if I had to be played by someone, he's a very good-looking man, and so that seems all right, And then I said something like, I hope he gets my fashion style choice right when he plays me, and it was a joke. All that was a joke.
You've been so controlled today, and yet in that brief moment, you got very emotional. Why?
It's really something to see constantly how many people are dying for lack of an encouraging word. And how easy it is to provide that if you're careful. Give credit where credit is due. And to say, You're a net force for good if you want to be.
Do you believe you're a net force for good?
Net, yes. In all the details, probably not. No one's perfect. So
that's about where this interview ends. Again, I'll put the full view in there. I do. I would say go ahead and watch the whole interview, not just the last 5 minutes. It's pretty good. So, yeah, I agree with him. Where it's like two different parts. One is that there's a lot of guys that are just not fitting the bill as far as what and they don't know what to do. Like a lot of things in society. I think like I was born in 1988, so it's like I've seen TV change in just the past 20 years, and it's like it's not just Family Guy or The Simpsons and some of the like non-cartoon but like family shows where they make the guys like I've seen commercials up to today where it's like they make men out to be weak, and women come and save the day and stuff. Like that's fine. Like I don't care so much as like, but that's when that's all you see. I think that there is some level of, everything is toxic masculinity anymore. Just for being a guy, and I think that that's really kind of messing up society in a lot of deeper ways than it's understood right now. We're just barely scratching the surface. So, on the second part, I'm going to say, not in the video, where I agree with him, is like, look, like you said, fair enough. Like, that's that's women's prerogative. Like, go for it. But to a lot of the guys that, especially young men that, just even 10 years younger than me, like, it's really difficult just dating and stuff like that, and you grow up with this idea of, like, hey, wife picket fence kind of idea. That's not the society, largely speaking, that we're looking at. So, and a lot of the quote-unquote red pill content and stuff, like, there's some quote-unquote toxic, if you want to consider, like, maybe bad humor on occasion. Most of it's just the other side of the conversation that's not heard, and letting women put their own foot in their mouth, necessarily making the points for us, where, like, the double standards and stuff. But that bit aside, at least, like, a good portion of the content, and where I agree with him, is, like, for the rest of the men, like, as far as being a net, a net positive, right, is, and I'm kind of quoting Kevin Samuel on this, where he said that society is on its best when men are when men are doing their best. So, like, I don't mean that, like, against women so much as, like, in generally speaking, like, what portion of the guy, homeless people, like, 3 out of 4 are men. So, if men were on their best game, like, society would be doing better. And I guess there's a lot of young men that are depressed, that don't know what to do, then they're scoffed at by women and society for not being able to find women. Like, at least give them a positive direction to go, to work on themselves. And sometimes, even someone like me who generally disagrees with anything related to Bible, this has nothing to do with the Bible, but on a psychological level, this guy helps a lot of young men, at least in the psychology-wise, give steps toward how to pursue your goals in a very neutral way. So, you don't have to agree with everything he says. I know he's controversial, and people will give me, crap about, siding with him for anything. But, I think that in this case, it's very well spoken, and I just wanted to share that and put a light on the subject. I agree with him. So, there you go.